All right, let's talk about parallel and perpendicular slopes. So if you look at my graph here, I have 3 lines. And if you look at these 2 brown lines right here, these 2 lines are parallel to each other. Okay, that means they run at the same steepness, and they're going to run right alongside of each other forever and ever and ever, and they're never going to touch. Okay, these are parallel. And parallel lines have slopes that are exactly the same. So the slopes of parallel lines are the same. And the cool thing about it, if you look at the word parallel, look at this. There's 2 parallel lines in the word. How cool is that? All right, and then we talk about perpendicular lines. So this purple line right here is perpendicular to the brown lines. And that means that they cross at a 90-degree angle, exactly 90 degrees. Those are called perpendicular. Now, the slopes of perpendicular lines, if you look at the 2 slopes, they will be opposite reciprocals. Opposite reciprocals. Okay, so if one's positive, the perpendicular is going to be negative, and then you take the fraction and you would flip it over to get the reciprocal. Okay, so let's find the slopes of these 2 lines so you can see what I'm talking about. This brown line here goes from this point to this point. So if we're going to look at the slope of this brown line, it's going to be rise over run. So if we rise, we'll rise 2, and then we'll run 1, 2, 3. 3. Okay? Rise of 2, 3 is your run. So the slope of this brown line is 2 over 3. Rise over run. Now, let's find the slope of the next brown line. Okay? The slope of the next brown line is also going to be rise over run. So let's take 2 points. Let's take this point right here and this point right here. And if I look at my rise, that's 2. And I look at my run, that's 3. Okay, so a parallel line is 2 over 3. Okay, and the way that we indicate parallel, there's your M for slope, and they'll put 2 little parallel lines down there as like a subscript. Now, let's look at the perpendicular line. Let's look at the slope. Perpendicular subscript will be this, kind of like an upside down capital T. So the perpendicular line, let's find the slope of this purple line right here. All right, I erased some of it. Let me put it back together. There we go. Good enough. I erased some of this until I put that back together. All right, so let's find the slope of this perpendicular line so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's go from this point to this point, okay? The blue. So my rise would be, it would be a -3, and my run would be a +2. Okay, so rise over run is going to be -3 over 2. Now look at these values. 2/3 and -3 over 2. And of course we would write this, you'll bring that negative out front. Let's call it -3 over 2. They are opposite the reciprocals. All right? Parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. Parallel, perpendicular.